In Chapter 6, we're going to learn about one extra present tense verb, as well as a new structure to say how things are hurting us, as well as Saber and Conocer. To begin, Jugar means to play. If you haven't figured it out already, it is the unique and only U to UE stem changing verb. So it becomes juego, juegas, juega, jugamos, jugáis, and juegan. It has our regular AR endings, o, as, a, amos, ais, an, except in the boot, it changes to U to UE. And that's all there is to the verb. Doler. Doler means to hurt. So we're going to go back and talk about how we talk about liking things. If you remember, in Spanish, we don't say I like to study. The way it really translates is studying pleases me, or me gusta estudiar, where it's kind of flipped. And if you remember to change which people are liking things, or to whom things are pleasing, we change the me, te, le, nos, os, or les. Me gusta, te gusta, le gusta, nos gusta, os gusta, or les gusta, depending on who is being pleased by studying. If the thing that you like is plural, you'll remember that gusta changes to gustan. For example, me gustan las papitas, te gustan los dulces, les gustan las galletas. All end in an N, or the third person plural form, because all of the nouns are plural. So if you remember, if we want to say we like to play soccer, nos gusta, nos because of a nosotros, gusta because jugar is just a verb and singular inherently. A ti te gustan, gustan because grapes are plural. Me gusta la leche. A ella les gusta, or le gustan los libros, plural because of los libros. However, in Spanish, now moving on to doler, this same thing is going to apply. So my arm hurts is really just like saying my arm is hurting me, or me duele el brazo. So instead of me gusta, we use me duele. Doler is an O to UE stem changer. So you can see in the boot, it would have to change to O to UE. We do not have to use the yo form conjugation like duelo, dueles, duele, dolemos, doles, and duelan, just like we don't have to use gusto or gustas. What we really need to change is the me, te, le, nos, os, or les, just like we did with gustar. So to say something is hurting me, me duele, something is hurting you, te duele, something is hurting him, her, or the formal you, le duele, nos duele, os duele, and les duele also work as well. You're also going to notice that an N is optional, and if you could guess why. If the thing that is hurting you is plural, the word duele changes to duelen. Should seem very similar to gustar. So for example, me duelen las manos, my hands hurt. Te duelen los ojos, your eyes hurt. Les duelen las orejas. We can imagine les to perhaps mean them or you all. Their ears, or your all ears, hurt. Where duele becomes duelen because each of the nouns is plural. You're also going to notice how you say me duelen las manos. You don't have to say me duelen mis manos, like my hands hurt. Really, you just have to say the hands hurt me, and we're just going to assume that they are your hands. So if we wanted to practice, we look at the a ustedes, we know that's going to be les, and because backs are plural, it's going to become duelen instead of duele. Les duele las espaldas. A mí me duelen los pies. My feet hurt. A ti te duele la garganta. To you, the throat is hurting. A mí y a Lucas is basically like saying to us, or a nosotros nos duelen los oídos. Our ears hurt. A Lola, to Lola and you, or to you all, is going to be like a les. You could use os if you're in Spain. And because hearts are plural, les duelen. Moving on to saber and conocer, a new topic. It's kind of going to be the same situation as ser and a star, where in Spanish there are two meanings that mean to know, both saber and conocer, kind of like ser and a star both mean to be. The conjugations for saber are as follows, where you're going to see the irregular yo form se with an accent. Otherwise, it is regular sabes, sabe, sabemos, sabes, and saben. Conocer is also going to have an irregular yo form, conozco, where it adds a z in there. And then it's regular throughout, conoces, conoce, conocemos, conoces, and conocen. So, what we are going to use saber for, in terms of reasonings, if you remember, saber has an acronym FELT, or C note, which is characteristics, nationality, occupation, time, and event location. Saber is not going to have an acronym, but it's just going to have two reasons that we use it. For example, information. If you want to talk about you know information or somebody knows information, for example, yo sé la respuesta, I know the answer. You're going to use saber instead of conocer. If you want to talk about knowing how to do something, as in an ability, you would also use saber. So tú sabes cocinar means you know how to cook. For conocer, we're going to use it for people. Yo conozco a Raúl. I know Raúl because I know him. I'm familiar with him. I've met him. Places. Conocen Florida bien. They know Florida well. And we're going to talk about now a couple of ways where we can use grammatical clues to tip us off to when it is going to be saber and conocer. The big reasons, of course, saber, information and abilities. Conocer is for people and places. You're also going to see conocer used in a couple of different situations where it's used in the sense to be familiar with something, where it's not necessarily a place or a person, but being familiar, for example, with a book or a piece of art. Like, I know that statue. Anytime you know a song is not an ability and an information, but it's obviously not a person or a place. Anytime you have any sort of cultural artsy things and you're familiar with them, you can also see conocer, and we'll talk about that in class. For example, some examples, if we were going to look at you know Yolanda, tú conoces a Yolanda. A grammatical clue that you can use in the sentence, for example, if it was tú blank a Yolanda, and you want to say, if you were choosing between tú sabes or tú conoces a Yolanda, what you can do is look at the word a right before the word Yolanda. We'll talk about this a little bit in class, but what that is called a personal a, where it shows that anything that's directly after the word a is a person, in this case, where it doesn't translate to anything in English. So if you see the word a and then a name, you know you're talking about knowing a person. Nosotros sabemos jugar al fútbol. We know how to play soccer. A grammatical clue that you can use here is anytime after the blank, if you're choosing between nosotros sabemos or conocemos, anything after the blank is an infinitive verb. So for example, jugar, unconjugated, you know that you are talking about how to do things. Ellos or ellas saben que vamos a ganar el partido. They know that we are going to win the game. That is information. Anytime you see the word que, in this sense it means the word that, so they know that. Anytime you know that, I know that, that is all information. Ustedes conocen bien a Juan y a Raúl. Here again, you can see the personal a, just after, like a Yolanda, we can see a Juan y a Raúl, so we know that they are people. We choose conocer, because we use conocer for people. Jorge sabe tocar la guitarra. Again, an infinitive. Tocar means it's going to be an ability. Yo conozco Santo Domingo, es mi ciudad favorita. I know Santo Domingo, it's my favorite city. Obviously, that is a place. Los estudiantes saben que la escuela es importante. Again, you see the word that after the word saben, meaning that it's information. Queremos conocer a los jugadores famosos. We see the personal a, showing that the players, the famous players, are in fact human beings. And because we have two verbs in a row, we conjugate the first queremos and we leave conocer unconjugated. Mi madre sabe que quiero un bate nuevo. My mom knows that I want a new bat. Another rule to keep in mind for saber, to tip you off to grammatical clues. Just like the word que means that, and anytime you see the word que, you know that we're talking about information. Anytime you see a question word, for example, I know who, I know what, I know where, I know when, I know why. Those que, cuando, quién, donde, a que hora, those all are question words, and anytime you see one of those after the blank, you're talking about knowing information about something. We'll see some examples like that in class. Miguel no conoce la República Dominicana. Miguel does not know the Dominican Republic. Of course, that is a place, so we're going to use conocer.